Nowadays, if you've never really played any single video games within your life, then are you living or are you actually living your own childhood? So, first of all, my name is Justin. I basically just talk about things which pop up in my mind, and somehow I was actually not having, or I don't really have any ideas as to what topic should I talk about today until I just saw my accounts or my old accounts from my old video games. So yeah, I've decided that I'm going to be talking to you guys about my experience towards video games. Now, video games are, as much as how silly it sounds, video games are actually a complex topic. There are different types of video games, different ways on how you could play them, and different, basically just different types of video games is all I am going to say. But yeah, so video games are somewhat a major, it's like a major occurrence within my past life. Like, if you were to take a tour within my old life, or when I say old life, this is basically just 1 year before, or basically like I'm guessing 5 or 6 months before. My life, or most of my days, are filled with me just sitting here in a crusty chair and basically just typing or just staring at my screen for hours on end just to grind this thing or just this character basically. So video games, if you are someone who actually, like me, is no longer playing any video games, or when I'm talking about not playing any video games, I'm not saying that you only decrease the amount of it. Talking about literally not playing anything as of the moment. Then you might find out, or you might find it to yourself, that video games are kind of being or becoming not really your niche or your style. It's not the fact that you got bored of it, but it's more of the fact that it kind of felt repetitive for you, if I am correct. Or maybe you have other reasons as to why you don't play video games anymore. Well, for me, one of my main reasons as to why I never played video games, or why I quit playing any sort of video games, well, I still play, of course. If I am, but I only play if I am being invited by friends or basically just anyone within my own family. Like, if I feel like, bro, if you're going to play alone, or if you're going to play every day, then that feels really lonely, don't you think? Like, you have a fuck ton of time provided for you, and you spend all of those time in a virtual world leveling up your own virtual character. That's kind of sad, bro. But if you were, let's say for example, you're my friend, and if you want to play some few rounds with me, let's say for example, you want to play some, I don't know what game is. Let's say you, for example, you want to play Genshin Impact for like a few hours with me, or basically a few minutes. Then sure, I could agree with you on that. We could play for a while, and basically after that, I'll just basically rest for the game. Now, the reason as to why I quit video games is because the more I got towards the video game world or the virtual world, the more started to somehow get, well, bored is not the word, but it felt really repetitive or exhausting to me. But you must be wondering, how the hell do you get exhausted on a game? Well, of course, first of all, eyesight, of course, like, that should be obvious. But second of all, is that if you are doing something that feels, like I said, repetitive, or you feel like you are basically just doing it not for the heck or the fun of it, but basically because you feel like it's an obligation for you to do, then that's where things take a turn towards your likeness or your relationship towards these video games. Like, bro, I don't know, there's just something repetitive towards me. Like, there is this one game that I've been playing which is called Genshin Impact. I'm sure most of you guys have already heard this game, or if not, you are playing this game. The thing about this game is basically, first of all, it's online. So, of course, if you are familiar with online games, expect a fuck ton of events, login rewards, claim. You do a lot more of claiming than actually the gameplay, and you expect a lot of farming, a lot of grinding, and all of that. Now, Genshin Impact is a fun game for me, if I'm being honest. For a game that is free to play, I'd say that it is worth it and that you should try it out. However, if you are someone who has been playing Genshin Impact for quite a while now, let's say you've already been on Genshin Impact since the beginning of its release date, such as me, then you might find it really boring or really repetitive. Right? One of the problems I had with this game is basically where they have this thing called commissions. You basically do some few side quests in order to get your rewards, and you do these every day. Now the thing about this is that once you have missed that commission, or once you have missed doing those commissions, you can never really like do them again. Like, it's hard to explain. Basically, the more I played the game, the more I felt like I was basically just not logging into it for fun, but like I'm just basically logging into it because I feel like it's a job for me to do. Like, bro, Genshin Impact turned me into from a player to a 9 to 5 worker. That's how I felt. Like, most of my days won't even be most of my days on Genshin Impact won't even be spent towards actual gameplay. I mean, of course, there are still gameplay, but that gameplay is accompanied by repetitive farming and basically just me doing the same shit every day. Like, at that moment, I felt like, bro, I think Genshin is dying for me. Like, I'm basically just waiting for new content whenever I feel bored. And of course, once new content comes, I think yada yada yada. I think that new content, I mostly just finish it within a week and back to normal again, I suppose. Like, bro, there's a huge, like, I feel like nowadays there's not really that much to enjoy towards gaming nowadays, especially online. Like, of course, I mean, there are still fun to experience towards gaming, especially if that's PvP, of course. But, bro, it just feels repetitive. And once you once you realize that if you've been doing the same thing, and once you realize the fact that one day all of this thing that you've worked with that game, all of those hours you've invested on that game is going to be gone. That's the hard part to accept. That's the reason why so many gamers nowadays get really agitated whenever you tell them that gaming does nothing to you. They all like blind themselves with the fact that, oh, I'll become an esports player one day, or all that dumb shit. Like, bro, I will be honest, I've never seen any benefits with gaming at all. Like, I don't care if that game is basically like, um, basically online, or you play with your friends. Even if you play with your friends, it's still not something you should do. Especially if you play with your friends every fucking day. Like, it's okay to play with friends for like sometimes, of course. But don't, if you are always with the boys, like grinding or basically just farming all this shit, it's gonna feel lackluster. You're gonna feel tired most of the day. Like, bro, that's like saying it's okay to drink alcohol as long as you have your friends with. Doesn't work like that, okay? So yeah, I mean, if you are a gamer right now and if you are getting pissed at what I am saying, then good, because that's the truth. This is why you are always so agitated with yourself. You always have this pride that gaming is basically just a normal thing for you. You're not realizing the fact that you are wasting a lot of time. And you might also give me the reason that, or this is the reason I hate whenever, this is the, like, I hate it when people say that they use gaming as some sort of stress reliever, or that it helps them escape depression and all that shit. So you're basically telling me that most people, or the happy ones, are actually gaming in order to escape depression. It doesn't work like that, bro. Like, there are many things you can do to achieve happiness, and it's not always about gaming. Because you see, the thing about gaming is that playing video games is actually a term in which we call as instant gratification. Now, when we say instant gratification by the name, it's basically you become, or you get dopamine instantly. That's what gaming does to you. The moment you boot up that screen, the moment you start playing, hopping in the lobby, searching for some teammates and all of that, you will start to feel a bit of a happiness within those moments. Well, not really happiness, but more like a dopamine influx. Of course, when you get a kill, you're going to be happy and all that shit. You might say to me that, oh, it's enjoyable, it's hyping me up. But, well, if that is true, then what happens if you quit that game? The moment you quit that game, or the moment you boot off your PC, you're gonna have this guilt, or I hope that you have this guilt. You're gonna have this guilt into which you feel like you're back to normal, or like you have this, your brain telling you that you're back to your own shitty life. Because that's the problem. Gaming is basically just, and it's like a quick fix or a quick drug that you use. And once you are already done with that drug, your sadness comes back again. It's not a, it's not a permanent fix. It's basically just a quick escape, or a quick illusion for you to actually just go ahead and not be sad for a while. But you might also give me the reason that it's not doing anything. I mean, it's not harming me, so why are you why are you like bashing this? Like, why can't you just let people have fun? Well, the thing is because you're actually doing more harm than good when you are playing video games. Like, I tell you this. This is coming from someone who has been addicted, who has been staying up until 4 a.m. before just to play video games. This is coming from someone who plays about more than 3 or 5 hours before. Like, this is serious. You are actually wasting more time and energy on that game, on that virtual world. Like, you are not realizing how many potential you are sacrificing just to pursue something that is virtual and that is never actually for you. Like, it's dumb of me to, I feel really dumb that I spent most of those days just here in my room playing video games, exploring the virtual world, not going outside, not being with my family. Like, I hated that. So If you are, or if by chance you are planning to quit gaming, then congrats. I'm proud of you. I really am. Because some gaming might be something or a habit which you have built upon for years. And it might be hard for you to quit, especially if you have peers backing you up or pulling you down towards playing more games with them. But remember that this is not, video games are not gonna be the way. One day, I believe me, like, one day you're gonna have regrets that you're gonna have regrets upon how many hours you wasted towards video games. Now you could make those you could add more hours towards those wasted times, or you could stop it. You could slowly or gradually stop it whilst actually becoming more open to the fact that video games are actually not that necessary towards your life. Like, bro, I'm gonna be honest right now, I really am. If you are someone who is actually thinking that video games is a necessity towards your life, or if you think that you cannot live a single day of your life without logging into your fucking account, I I'm disappointed. Like, you might say this is hypocritical of me and all that, but nowadays, since I've started quitting video games, since I've started actually fixing my own life and not actually just investing in my virtual life or my virtual world, I can confidently say that I'm disappointed if you are thinking that mindset. Video video games or video game developers don't give a shit about you whether you get addicted into their own franchise or not. They actually would rather get you addicted into their own franchise. So yeah, in conclusion, like, fuck, I don't know what conclusion should I leave here, bro. Just try your best to quit video games. Like, you're better than this, bro. Focus more on your real life than the fucking virtual life or the metaverse.